Okay, now I go back to that other tape that I made. This is 2000 to 2010. Okay, 2000 2010. So the other tape tells you most of what I'm. I'll just add a little bit to it. So I was done with Total Plastics in 2000. See what was it, April? It was April. And then by May, I got a job at Intercal. Intercal makes entire bleacher systems. The bleachers that you sit on at all sporting events inside and outside. But mainly, they did mainly school, public school and private school bleacher systems that pull out from the wall. Yeah, and then for spectator seating, that's called spectator seating. Okay, so and all the steel underlayment of it, and you pull it out like this, and then you push it back in for floor space. So you have room to like public schools, so you have room to do other things. But they did have the roll up, roll out, and roll in. All public schools do. So when there's a tornado outbreak, it hits different public schools or schools period, colleges or private schools. They do all bleacher systems, so inside and out. So I was the material handler, and I was responsible. Well, I was mainly the material handler, but sometimes I was the checker. The checker is a material handler that makes sure everything is on the truck, by a checklist. All the hardware, all the horses, all the seating, all the everything. And you can have three types of seats. You can have steel, plastic, or wood. And we had all steel, or except for the steel seating, we did the steel seating there. But the wood and the plastic we had shipped in, and we'd store it. And when order came around, we'd add those seats to it. But we made all the horses there. That's the L shape with these things sticking out. This guy called it a certain thing. He called it a certain thing. And the things sticking out. You got things sticking out of it. But every seat height, and it can go up to 30 feet high. And it can be this wide and this thick. Tubing, a square tubing. It's not square, but it's oblong square tubing. But and we cut it, we weld it, and we paint it, or dip paint it, or spray paint it. Spray paint it or dip paint it. So we had a dip. It probably went 7 or 8 feet deep of paint, and it went on a conveyor like this. And what it does, go down in the dip and go up, and then we had fans up by the ceiling, and it blew on the part, and by the time it got around, it was all dry, and we'd stack it. We'd stack a bunch of them, hundreds and thousands of them. But it'd go on a conveyor like that. But before that, they'd be cutting it and drilling it and welding it, and then it goes to paint. Then everything that underneath of it, all the underlayment. And one thing I did there that I didn't do anywhere else, that when I was a material handler, is the long steel. Long steel is like 25, 30 feet long. So you got about 4 feet, and then you got about 12 foot sticking out on either side. So it's 24 plus 4 foot, that's 16, or 24, 26. So you got about 15, or about 13 feet on either side, 26 and 4, yeah. About 13 feet sticking out on either side. And this thing is like 2,000 pounds. And it's a roll of square steel brackets that are 30 feet by, like that, or like steel brackets. It's all the underlayment underneath the entire bleacher system that we made. And I loaded a truck with that, and the horses and the seats and the hardware, and everything that had to do with entire Beecher systems. I was a checker to make sure that everything that I say was on the truck is on the truck by the list. There's a couple times I left the horses off, like everybody does, because they're like sometimes last to be put on because we're waiting on them. But so and then we forget we didn't put them on there, and they're off on the job and they don't have the horses, so you gotta wait for them. But oh well, we did that. I did that a couple times, just like everybody else did. But anyway, that's Intercal. That's Intercal Kalamazoo. They're a union shop, and I worked there from 2000 to 2005. September 1st, 2005 was the last day I worked there. I didn't know that at the time because I thought it was just another normal layoff, 6 months layoff. So I worked for 6 months.
The indoor temperature is 72.3 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's my
The outdoor temperature is 69.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's my talking thermometer. But I didn't know that at the time, and I was going to be there. That was going to be my last day there, September the 1st of 2005. Because it was a pretty it was a pretty gravy job for what I was doing. I sure the hell you bust your ass a little bit, not that much. Where I Total Plastics, I was making $10 an hour, and I'd bust my ass every day, guaranteed. And so I first got a job at Bentler. Got a job there for about 2 months, I think. Must have been June when I got hired in Intercal, because I worked there for a month and a half or so. So May or June I started at Intercal in 2000, because I was a lower control arm robot welder for lower control arm of your car. That's the first job I ever had that my forearms. I felt it in my forearms. You go like this from there, like that, and keep doing that. Keep doing that, and then put them over here in the stamper, because you gotta stamp each one, and then put them up on a rack where they cool down. And I talked about this in my last video where I touched one like that and got burnt right there. That's why I had tattoos there. But I worked there for 2 months as a robot welder, and then I making $8.50 an hour, and it would have been up to $13 an hour after a couple months. But I got a job at Intercal in 2000, I think it was May of 2000, and started out there at $13 an hour, and like I said, I did all the stuff I told you. Then in September 1st, 2005 was my last day there, and but I didn't know that at the time, and I was glad to leave because I was always laid off every year, 6 months. I'd wake up and say, what do I do today? I think I'll play some video games. Wake up anytime I want to wake up and go to bed whenever I want to go to bed. Watch whatever movie I want to watch. Play video games. Drive my car, whatever. In '89, I got a 1989 Daytona red, brand new. But that's why I had a 1989 Daytona Chrysler. It was a nice car. It was a sports car. Daytona, all red, with a silver bottom, a little silver strip bottom, like. In Intercal, okay, so after they didn't call me back the following, fall or summer, because the main time and the most work available is in the summer, when the kids are out of school, because we did entire visual systems for public school and schools and colleges and sporting events outside. We did entire visual systems. That's what we did. And so they didn't call me back. So I had to quit the union to get my money, so I could, from the 401k. That's the only way I could get my money if I quit the union. So that's what I did, and kept my bills up to date. Then I got behind on bills anyway, so it didn't really matter. Because I went from, after 2 years on unemployment, about a year and a half, 2 years, So that brings what, 205, 2005, or 7 I mean, from 2005 to 2007. So, yeah. So 2007 I got a job. That job sucked. No benefits. They didn't give me the benefits when they said after 2 months working there. So I was no show, no call. That was where my brother worked at, a box company. That was a waste of my time because, you know, when you're sent over to help on a machine, you're supposed to be taught the machine, right? They don't do that. They don't do that at all. And the boss was right there. He didn't say nothing. He's spineless. So I didn't learn nothing there because they don't teach you anything. And so I didn't go. I just didn't call. Didn't show. I was glad I did that. It was a smart move on my part. And it was a smart move on my part to get Total Plastics to fire me too, because, you know, that way I got a better paying job, which I did within a couple months. And that was two smart moves. I'll never regret. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got Total Plastics to fire me. I'm glad I called in. I didn't call and didn't show at that box company. That was a waste of my time. That's a big waste of my time, that box company. But my brother helped me get, you know, so he's kind of out of the picture. He hates me for that, and I think my whole family hates me for when my mom died and I got the house and I paid them and I didn't even have to. That was all verbal, you know. I did it on my word. And I was paying them. I paid them like for 2 years. And they're going, oh, we got the house all free and clear, you know, because it was free and clear. You know, you just get it on, give it to them. Yeah, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. Yeah, I got the house free and clear, but I paid them 2 years. And I didn't even have to do that. My mother, matter of fact, before my mother died, she said, yeah, don't do what I did. And pay them a dime. Because she says who gets the house. And she told me, especially, you know, blank people, the religious people of my family, especially them. And she was dead right, because my sister, you know, they got a thing, you know, that I made up, saying I'd pay them this and that after a certain amount of time, which I lived up to my agreement, and I didn't have to. It wasn't legally binding. It wasn't legally binding at all, and they found that out because they went to the lawyer trying to say, oh, we're going to sue this guy, and you're going to sue me for part of their, you know, what they deserve, which they didn't deserve nothing, because my mother said, don't do it. Don't pay them a dime. Don't even pay them a dime. That's what she said. Especially the religious people, and them were the people that complained about it and went to their lawyer, and they're the only ones. My two brothers, shit. They said, oh, okay, whatever. You know, they might not believe me, but they said whatever. You know, they don't have a leg to stand on, and they know it. But my sister now, she was a different story. Her husband, oh, I wanted to get him a piano. Whoopee, work for it. But, you know, they're going, oh, he got the house all free and clear, you know. I did, I got the house free and clear. But I didn't have to pay them a dime. And I paid them money, like I said I was going to pay. Like my contract that I wrote up, which wasn't legally binding, because you got to have a secretary, you have the Secretary of State sign it. The lawyer sign it. You got a couple other people sign that, witness, to have it legal and binding. And that never happened, never did. I just made it up and said, here's what I'm going to pay. And I did. I held true to it. And them guys, they hate me because I got the house free and clear. Oh, you got the house free. You know, I tried to make other things work, because I already owned I already owned 4 houses. I owned 4 other houses other than the one I was living in, for rental property, and that didn't work out, so I filed bankruptcy for the first time. And I filed bankruptcy in 2002, 2002, and 2011. So I filed bankruptcy in 1992, relieved myself of all the houses and all responsibility. And then or 2002, I relieved all my responsibility of my other debts I had, and then 2011, I relieved my responsibility to the house that I lived in. And see, this is 2000 to 2010, 2010. So, okay, my next video will tell about that because that happened in 2014. But I was a landlord for 6 years, from 86 to 92. 1986 to 1992, I was landlord. I owned 5 houses at the time. At the end of the about a year and a half, 2 years before I filed bankruptcy and rejected them all. I had 5 duplexes, but so the free and clear house, you know, that was nothing. And I'll tell you about that in my next video because that's part of the 2011 to 2015 or 2020. I'm going by the decade, so okay, that's it. That's from 2000 to 2010, and I owned 3 new brand new cars. One was the 1989 Daytona. That was my first brand new car. 1989 Daytona. That's when my mother was still alive. I got that, and then I got a what was that? It was a Hyundai. A Hyundai. Was it a Hyundai? Yeah, it was a Hyundai. It was a 1999. It was 1999 Honda. I traded the, or no, I sold the Daytona, and then I got into a, I got into a used car, 1987. 1987 some kind of car. I forget. It was a Chrysler. I sold that and then got into 1997. Then got the 1999 Hyundai, and then got the 2001 Kia Sophia, and I sold that on Craigslist. Was it Craigslist? I think that was before Craigslist. No, I didn't sell that on Craigslist. I sold that through a car because that was before Craigslist. That was a 2001. So yeah, I sold that through a car place. But anyway, that's from 2000 to 2010.